You want to do our intro, Minnie? Hey? Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Minnie the dog, and with me is my mother, Michelle J. Stenson. Thanks, Minnie. Thanks, Minnie the dog. Yeah. Should we show off Harry's new pajamas? Harry, come here, buddy. Just wanted to show off Harry's pajamas that he has. I also have a pair coming for him to have pizzas on them. Harry, do you like pizzas? Yeah. There, put him back in his heated bed there. Okay, so. Alright, so again, as Minnie mentioned, welcome to Coffee Talk with Michelle J. Stenson of Chartreuse Flower Works. Today I have a story for you about an old florist that I used to work for. His name was Mr. Chandler, Mr. Paul Chandler. So Mr. Chandler owned a flower shop called Scrim's Florist, and it's on Elgin Street, the corner of Elgin and Somerset Street in Ottawa. He was quite an elderly gentleman when I started to work for him. I believe he was 80 something maybe, so quite elderly. Mr. Chandler, I feel like, inherited Scrim's from the previous owners. I'm not sure if they were relatives or not because Scrim's opened in the late 1800s. So I'm not sure how he got it, if he bought it, if it was inherited, I'm not sure. So I was 22 at the time, and for me to be working at a prestigious shop on Elgin Street, I was so crazy about it. I was really into clothing and dressing super fancy. I was getting shirts dry cleaned. Remember when I was getting shirts dry cleaned, Minnie? That was crazy. I was getting shirts dry cleaned because I wanted to look so profesh. So I was the front shop girl, and people who shopped there had a lot of money to spend. And I got really interested in sales, and I started reading a lot of sales books, and I had my own, book of customer info. And what's interesting is my dad also had a book of customer info. So this was not like a shop book. I got a price tag on my finger, $18. Minnie, do you want to be $18 today? Nope, that's too cheap. So yeah, I found a book that my dad had kept of his own customer records, and I didn't know about that, and I was actually doing that myself, and I kept it in my desk. And something about being a young florist and all of a sudden having your own desk drawer for your own tools was like next level. Also, when you get your own business cards with your own name on it, you are so profesh. It's just crazy. There's something going by here. Fire truck. So yeah, to have your own business cards with your own name and your own desk drawer was like next level. So I didn't have my own business cards there, which was actually not good for them because having me as an employee was very beneficial because I loved flowers. I loved all of my jobs that I worked at, and I always did a really good job promoting shops that I worked for. In fact, I still have some business cards from Mood Moss Flowers in Ottawa. I worked for Eric for 4 years. I have my cards with my name on it from Mood Moss in my front counter. And if anyone from Ottawa comes into my shop, I give them my card with my name on it for the shop in Ottawa. So anyways, back to Scrim's. So I was really into sales, getting my shirts dry cleaned. It was crazy. There was 2 walls worth of windows there, and they had the most expensive vases and pottery, and it just was, everything was just so beautiful. The window displays were epic. It's still going. I believe the owner's name is Susan now. I went actually last summer, and I checked in when I was there, but I'm getting ahead of the story. The story is about Mr. Chandler. So as I mentioned, Mr. Chandler was around 80 something, and he didn't come in very often. He would just pop in every few days, and he used to eat a Coffee Crisp chocolate bar every single day. Every single day, Mr. Chandler would have a Coffee Crisp chocolate bar. He also wore, oh, a Subi just went by, also wore these really expensive London Fog cardigans. And in the summer, the air conditioning was really, really cold. So myself and some of the other young women who were working there, we would always wear Mr. Chandler's spare London Fog sweaters that were in the cupboards there, the closet there. So Mr. Chandler did a few funny things. One thing he used to do is he would come in smoking, and he would walk around smoking, and he also had this like song that he used to sing. And it would be just like do 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 do. That was the song, and he would just walk around singing, and he would have his cigarette, and then he would decide he was done with it. So instead of, you know, putting it out or extinguishing it or whatever, he would leave it on a workbench. So the cigarette would be like this, sitting on a workbench, and he would just leave it like that. Would just leave it like that. So someone would then like put it out. The funniest part has to be the management at the time was not very good, and I don't really feel bad for saying it either. The management at the time wasn't very good, and they felt as though because the shop was always closed on Sundays, we didn't have to open for Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is on a Sunday. So we didn't have to open for Mother's Day. We didn't open on Mother's Day. It's insanity. So later I find out that Mr. Chandler, who's like 80 something, opened his store with no help by himself on Mother's Day. So it was so crazy. So crazy. Michaela's coming in here. My new student. Hey, how's it going? Good. I'm just doing a video. I'll be right with you. Just talking about Mr. Chandler. Yeah, so Mr. Chandler opened the store himself on Mother's Day. And the other funny thing about Mr. Chandler is that whenever I did see him working with flowers, he never used a knife. He would just use his thumbnail as like a blade to trim things. It was just so interesting. The really neat thing is last summer I went to Scrims to visit because I was in the neighborhood and I like to just check in. And I spoke to this guy named Terry who was working there. I really loved connecting with him. And one of Mr. Chandler's sweaters was hanging on a doorknob. And Mr. Chandler did pass away some years ago. But his sweater was still there. So I can't remember if I actually tried it on or if I said to Terry I was going to try it on. I'm not sure, but it was really interesting. So yeah, so Scrims is still there. It's at the corner of Elgin and Somerset in Ottawa. It's an absolutely beautiful shop. And if you do need flowers, there's that. Or you can also come in and grab my business card for Mood Moss. I have some customers coming in here, and Michaela just got here for her shift. She's my new student. So I will end it there, and I will check back then. I gotta go around and turn this off. I'll check back in.